Hi, we're broadcasting today from the Jesse McDonald Gallery in Folsom, California, on behalf of Comstock's magazine, interviewing entrepreneurs in the greater Sacramento area. Today, I get the good fortune of sitting with Will Brown, co-founder of Interapp, a, a augmented reality company that blends augmented reality into a tool for designers of print, video, et al., and adds a new dimension for customer engagement for companies in a wide range of again services and products that want to build community and add a new depth to their engagement of customers. We're going to hear all about how that's happening, how Will got into this, where he's going, and hope you'll understand a lot more about not only this product, but about the vitality and the excitement around entrepreneurs in the Sacramento area by the time we're finished. Will, it's a pleasure to sit here with you.
Charlie, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. You co-founded this company.
Yes.
And you've attracted a 1.2 million in pre-seed money.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is no
Thank you.
small thing.
No, it's not. Thank you.
And you have a goal of 10% of the total available market.
Yep.
These are exciting.
Yeah.
That's a great launch.
Yes.
Investors and a goal.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot of folks out here right now who have no idea or only some idea of augmented reality. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about what it is?
Yeah. So augmented reality is a technology that has ultimately been around for at least the past 15 years. And it's just now really gaining some traction. But what it allows users to do is to interact and engage with the real world by overlaying digital experiences on top. Those digital experiences could be video, animation, 3D content. So in essence, with Interapp, you're able to interact with packaging, apparel graphics, art graphics, and utilize it to pull up and embed over it rich media AR experiences. So ultimately, it augments the real world around you with digital experiences.
When I looked at the product and would you call it a product or a service?
I would call it probably both. It can fall under both categories because the product would be the technology aspect of it. And then we do have content creators on the platform that utilize it as a service. So they'll sell AR as a service with their experiences they create. So we can classify it as both.
Very good. Now, I'm going to describe to you my experience of looking at the product, and tell me where, if I'm where I wouldn't have seen or I'm not seeing its full depth. So for example, the logo that you're wearing, if you were to put this onto you have an app that I can get on my phone. And once I have that app, if this is one of the products that is now serviced by your product, then I aim my camera at that logo and I will see things that nobody else will get to see.
Absolutely.
I will see depth in there of a conversation, maybe with other users of your product, or I'll hear something from, I don't know, just a knowledgeable person that will tell me more. But the opportunity, and tell me if I'm on a track here, the opportunity is for a business then that owns this logo to build a community of people who are experiencing something about and with their product that nobody else is unless they use what you do. Am I close?
You're absolutely correct. So Interapp, we say we help build engagement or increase engagement with your consumer or your audience. So you're absolutely correct. So that's a great use case. We have a lot of apparel companies that utilize Interapp to create rich media experiences that are embedded on, let's say, their graphic tees. And you interact with that graphic tee and you'll pull up something dynamic. And that could be, for instance, NFTs are something that a lot of our apparel companies are utilizing. You can interact with it and pull up that NFT. You can see the NFT, which may just be the digital animation of that artwork in motion. And that is something that is now on the blockchain as an NFT. So that's one example of experiencing that. And it's exclusive to that audience who is a part of the brand, that rocks with the brand per se, and has utilized Interapp to interact with that experience. So what that provides is another level of engagement for that brand outside of social media, outside of Facebook, outside of Instagram, outside of TikTok. This is a whole new experience, but it keeps the audience engaged and in tune with the brand. New product drops, new information, new content that is exclusive to you when you only interact with that brand. So you're absolutely correct in that characterization.
Some of the ways that, and I'll go one step further in my curiosity, NFTs, some folks were using it like in the sports field. They were using it to give you a kind of a backseat ticket, or a backstage ticket, a backseat. But the long and short, it gave you a special opportunity that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Similar case uses for your product?
Similar use cases. So what we try to, as our early adopters come aboard and they want to cross over into the NFT space with Interapp, we really have them really consider utility, figure out the utility application for utilizing Interapp and NFTs. So great utility use case is, when you interact with that, let's say that graphic tee, and you want to experience the NFT, the utility aspect is, well, you have the shirt. Every subsequent, let's say, shirt we come out from that, we do different collections, every subsequent shirt in that collection, you may get a 10% discount because now you're part of the community that you've accessed through the utility of the NFT that you were able to experience through Interapp.
Okay.
So that's one use case with the NFT, thinking about utility and building from there.
Who are some of your clients?
Yeah. So a lot of our early adopters right now are in the art space. So a lot of artists. So those are people who paint, who illustrate. They draw digitally through programs, Procreate or Illustrator. They paint on canvases. They do large format prints. Those are some of our customers right now as content creators. Others are clothing brands. Like I've mentioned before, we've seen an uptick in clothing brands utilizing the content creator to create interactive experiences on their apparel. Another big one is packaging. We had the fortune to partner with a major snack company called Wrap Snacks, and they utilize AR on their packaging. And Wrap Snacks is available in every major retail store, Walmart, HEB, Target. So that's an example of a use case where a major snack brand has utilized AR to create an engagement linkage with their audience. So those are some of our current early adopters. Graphic designers have been huge too. So graphic designers come aboard as freelancers per se. So they're in charge of creating creatives for brands, whether it's their packaging art or even designing the tee for some brands, right? So they're the graphic designer. They've early adopted Interapp because they can see the use case for their brand that they work with for Interapp. So those are those use cases.
Now, companies often rise and fall on the quality of the team.
Yep.
Tell us about your team.
Yeah. So I've been fortunate. I have a very good team. I have a very good team of developers. I have a very good team of in-house administration that helps us create and develop content that we can put out for our marketing message. I have a great team of executives that help me really hone in on the marketing message and execution of our marketing efforts and our marketing goals. And honestly, those individuals started coming around in the last 24 months, and I've been blessed to have them. They've been through the journey with me, but as things really started rolling in, they really started digging in and doubling down with me, and I've been very appreciative of that. So we have a very solid team. Our development team is a good 50 developers who really handle the product from the web app side, which is the content creator side, and then the mobile app side, which is the consumer facing side. And then our executive team consists of a good solid 10, and then our media team consists of a good solid 3. And we all, work our butts off. We all wear we all wear multiple hats. We're always switching gears.
So, Sacramento, why here? And how is it to grow a business here and to find the talent you want?
Yeah. So why here? I'm from Sacramento, born and raised right here in Sacramento, California. Went to Sheldon High School, so I'm a product of Elk Grove Unified School District. And I actually started my first business at a high school, which is graphic design and printing. I opened up a print service business. So I was the local print shop and still am. So that's why here. I'm just planted here. To find tech talent. So early on, for me, Interapp is a pivot from the printing space into tech. And we can get into that, how that pivot came along, but that's ultimately what it was. But when I jumped into this venture, dang near 5 years ago, finding talent for this technology was very difficult. And I couldn't find it here in Sacramento, primarily because although the technology has been around for quite some time, it's only been concentrated to a select few of companies, primarily in Europe, that kind of cultivated the technology or held the technology per se. So trying to find people outside of Europe and outside of Europe, inside the US, and then more specifically in Sacramento was really difficult. Nobody was really dabbling in AR. People can build an interface, the front end side of it, but they really couldn't dabble into the back end of it. So that was hard to do. So I had to look elsewhere for my talent in terms of the technology side of things. Now that dynamic is shifting. I'm seeing a lot more young kids come up in the coding space that are now taking heed to AR, VR development. But prior to that, that wasn't the case.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So now, and again, one of your goals is 10% of the total available market.
Yep.
That's a good, strong, solid, clear goal. When you are looking at market development, are you looking at all at this coming development of the metaverse, where people's avatars begin to interact and build community around and et cetera?
Yeah.
Do you see your company contributing to that creation of community?
Yes. Matter of fact, the very unique thing about AR and the very beneficial thing about Interapp is it ultimately stands alone outside of the metaverse. It contributes, but it also stands alone. And it also stands alone outside of NFTs. So a good example is I use this. We have an artist that we actually onboarded last year with Interapp, and she's been able to utilize utilize our platform to create experiences on top of her art for her audience to engage with. And her and I had a very interesting discussion about NFTs because she was at one point interested in crossing over into this NFT space, but her and I had a discussion maybe sometime after we onboarded her, and she's like, you know what? I'm not really feeling getting into the NFT space quite yet because I feel like I'll be being disingenuous to my audience. I said, really? How do you feel? She's like, well, I feel like I'll be a bandwagoner, jumping on the bandwagon, just trying to create NFTs or create NFTs. And she said, I just don't want to do that. A lot of my audience likes my art, but they also like the AR experience. And that's the great thing about Interapp. And she gave me a new perspective. She's like, what your product does is I can still utilize it, but I don't have to be in the NFT space. I can still add utility to my art and up the perceived value of the art because of the AR experience, but I don't have to cross into the NFT space and feel like I'm, selling out. I said, that's a very good perspective.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, that is a contribution to the metaverse. The metaverse really is just Web3. That's all things that are not just tied to, let's say, physically surfing on the internet, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Google search. Web3, the metaverse, is being able to interact with experiences through your device, your mobile device, your phone, or a headset, right? Being able to pull up content, rich media experiences without having to be on the laptop, but through your phone, and then augment that in the real world. So the contribution that Interapp and AR makes to the metaverse is being able to bridge the gap, being able to take what's digital in the metaverse and then bridge it to what's the physical world is. AR is that medium for that. So to interact with, let's say, an NFT, which exists in the metaverse, to pull that up on a piece of art through AR is the bridge, and that's the contribution.
Every entrepreneur that I've talked to is very excited about growing the company, getting that first money, getting into the market, revenues generating. Now we've found our sweet spot. Now let's go. Let's scale this thing. Oftentimes I hear investors asking, well, what's the exit strategy so that I know when I get my money back and make some money? Where entrepreneurs sometimes are going, I don't want to stop doing this. I envision this. I've got a long, where are you?
Honestly, and it's a very interesting perspective for you a good question, I should say, because keep in mind, my background is actually brick and mortar. So I was the guy that would build print shops, staff them, work them, and have a physical product. The startup world, especially the tech startup world, is new to me. I'm learning as we're going along. And every video you want to watch to learn, every founder you talk to, every accelerator you may listen to, they always talk about that exit. They always talk about that exit strategy and what you need. And once again, as a brick and mortar guy, we never really thought about exit. We said we just want to be able to print and service our clients from here to the end of time. So to be able to have to make that mind shift into an exit strategy for tech, I still grapple with. I'm not gonna lie, I still grapple with that because we do have investors that we want them to be able to see the fruits of their hard-earned money they put in, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, what does that exit look like? So in our case, I've always said, well, I think we can continue to build up this product, and a great exit for us is being able to merge with a company that sees the value in the user base we created from our mobile side, and the value in the user base we created from the content creator side, as well as the technology that we've created that bridges the gap for digital and the real world. So being able to partner with a company that can see the value in that can bring some liquidity for us to pay back our investors, that will be a good exit strategy for me. And then we're still able to continue to grow and build and develop upon that. But that's kind of how I see it. That's how I see our exit.
Well, we're coming down to the end of our talk together. But every entrepreneur that I've met also runs into occasionally the wall. And that wall is, I went through the blood, sweat, and tears of getting started. Now we've found a sweet spot and we're starting to grow. And that wall it comes as a different type of management. And what gets you excited and what gets you up in the morning and I want to get there how about you? As the company is now definitely moving along that trail you've gone beyond any body breathing has a job kind of thing. Now you've found your space. Now you're starting to build and revenue this. What gets you up in the morning? What excites you about keeping doing this?
I'll answer that in a couple of different parts. One, my family, just being able to provide a great quality of life for them. We love to travel. I love for my kids to see the world and see certain things. And that's important to me because the idea of Interapp came from me traveling. So being able to see different things outside of your environment to inspire you, that's important to me. So I get up to continue to push so I can provide that for them. On the business side of it, really the evangelical side of this. I've been passionate about AR literally for the past 5 years before it really became even popularized through the metaverse. I've been all over the country, from LA down to Miami, Florida, and everywhere in between, just evangelizing what AR could be, primarily for the printing space, because that's where I come from, but being able to pivot and see different use cases with artists, apparel brands, packaging companies, really became the reason for me to continue to pursue the evangelical side of things. So I would say that's my other why, just that mass adoption. AR is a great technology and there's not that much adoption of it, but it can bring so much value to the world. It can unlock so many things, and it kind of gets you outside of just your normal social media scrolling. Like, it kind of puts you in a realm to where you actually are looking at the world now. We're so used to being in our phones and seeing what's on the digital world, we don't interact with things. Like, art and visual graphics are all around us. Billboards are all over the place. Murals are all over the place. Packaging is all over the place. But we never really pay attention to this stuff because we're always here. So now being able to empower people to embed these sort of rich media experiences or exclusive content on your art, on your packaging, on your billboard, on your mural, once that's adopted, people are going to be walking around saying, oh, what can I scan now? Let me launch Interapp and see if this mural has anything exclusive on it. Or I see your shirt. Oh, I follow this guy. Let me scan his shirt. To me, that's kind of the driving factor that gets me up, right? Being able to say, let's get out of our heads down and let's get our heads up and start looking at stuff through AR. That's the second part of that driving factor, motivating factor for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of Comstock's magazine, it's a real pleasure to get to talk to you today.
Charlie.
Really fun.
This was fun. I appreciate it. I love the questions. But yeah, I thank you for having me, and I like what Comstock is doing here. A lot of entrepreneurs in Sacramento do need a voice. We do need a channel, because like you said earlier, we really don't have that. When you think of entrepreneurship, when you think of technology entrepreneurs, you don't think of Sacramento. And that dynamic can quickly change, and it should change. And there's a lot of us that have a voice that would love to be heard. So,
well, I would say I'm listening today. It is changing. It has changed. Now we're just getting people to notice.
People notice.
And I want to thank Jesse McDonald here for having us in the this great gallery today, and thank everybody for again reading Comstock's magazine and joining me for conversations with great entrepreneurs here in the Sacramento area. Thank you.